Well, this is a real treat. We've got the great Wally Bullington joining us here to talk about that 1973 team, which is being honored this weekend here on Homecoming. I don't recall having the Wally Bullington show looking quite as elaborate as this set here. Was it, Coach?
It's about a third this time.
Okay, gotcha. Coach Collums, I know when you look back at that 73 team and you see some of the numbers, more importantly, some of the names, it makes you a little envious when you think about what you could have done offensively with some of those guys.
That's right. The number one thing you know about Coach Bullington, the guy could recruit. He understood, hey, it's about Jimmys and Joes. It's about that's right. It's about creating space, getting the guys the ball. One thing I want to say to you is I want to thank you just for the inspiration that you are to me and the constant encouragement down the hall. I'll walk into his office twice a week and just sit there and let him talk, and he always has positive things to say, whether you rush for 50 yards or 250, and I appreciate that. But back to the players. Talk to me, Wilbert Montgomery. At what point did you know, because you knew he was fast, you knew he could change direction, you knew he could catch a little, but when did you know, oh gosh, this guy's something special?
As you know, when you're recruiting, you've got to have help. You've got to have people that maybe tell you about a player to get his name in the process. I had a nephew that lived in Greenville, Mississippi. He called me Coachman. He called me one day, and Jimmy said, Coachman, I've seen the best running back I've ever seen in high school. And by the way, this guy played for Mississippi State, so I knew he knew a little bit. But you always hear that, as you well know. That's right. I said, that's good, Jimmy. We're always looking for great running backs. Can you get me some film? He said, I sure can. Well, he got me the film, and he sent them, and he was right. he was the best running back I'd ever seen. So that was our first connection. And then we, of course, later on got Wilbert to come out to visit. He was very, very shy. He would hardly say anything to anyone, but he liked our campus, and he liked our people, and so Jackson State had really worked on him, and they had a guy by the name of Walter Payton, and I happened to mention, you know, going against Walter Payton may be a little tough, but anyway, Wilbert liked us. He liked the atmosphere. His mother really liked us, and I had told his mother, I said, I don't know how great he'll be in football, but he'll come out a better man. And she really helped us with that recruiting. And he's the greatest running back I've ever coached. Wow. Maybe one of the best I've ever seen. Wow.
Yep. He's something else. And now let me ask you this. Let's transition over to a little more general coaching, leadership type stuff. The 72 team, you had a rough go at it. Finished 3-8. Every team is different. Getting the best out of these guys is different. It's a different process. You get different guys. They're in different parts of their different segments of their lives. Talk to me on what happened between the 72 team and the 73 team. Because you took one on the chin early in the season in 73, and then you ran the table.
That's right. We played East Texas State, East Texas at Commerce now, and they had won the national championship the year before. And they had a great defensive team. Big Daddy Lipscomb on one end, Mad Dog Dwight White, who played for the Steelers, on the other side. And, you know, we beat that team. That was one of our big 3 victories. And that gave us the momentum that we could play with about anyone in Division II if we would just keep recruiting the best we could. And our kids got inspired and set some goals for themselves. We put some people around. Wilbert came in as a freshman. Clint Longley really developed as a quarterback. And probably Clint could see the field as the best that I've ever had. He had peripheral vision, and he could go on his progression real easy. And I think those things, and we had a great receiver in Richard Williams that could run in the 4.3s to stretch the field. And I think putting all that together, they could see we could have a real good ball club. We played Arkansas State. We wasn't even smart enough. Ted Sitton was my offensive coordinator, great quarterback coach. We wasn't even smart enough to start Wilbert in that first game against Arkansas State. So we started the game, and they scored pretty quick. And then I said, Ted, on the phone, Ted, let's try Wilbert. Put him in there, and we ran slip screen. He went 46 yards for a touchdown.
It didn't take long.
From then on, he was a starting tailback.
That's right. I understand that. Well, Coach, let me ask you this, because I get some insight from you that nobody else gets to. I am blessed with that opportunity. Talk to me a little bit on how you invested in those players. ACU is a different place. It provides the opportunity for the head coach to invest and change lives. What's the best thing about coaching?
One of the best things that we did for that club and some others was to get a guy by the name of Ron Willingham, who lived in Amarillo and had written several books on leadership and developing as a person. And Ron got interested in our program, and he drove down every Monday and put on a seminar for our kids, a 10-lesson seminar on getting to know yourself and leadership. We would take some time out of practice for that seminar, and I think that was one of the key things. And that pulled this team together. You know as well as any coach, your chemistry, your locker room chemistry is so important, and you've got to do things early in a year to bring that chemistry where you want it to be. Right. First thing you got to do is be sure that your coaching staff has that chemistry. Mm-hmm. And we had Ted Sitton, offensive coordinator. We had Don Smith, offensive line coach.
Great coach.
Oh, we had T.Y. Owens heading up the defense, and we had Jerry Wilson, who was a young coach. And, you know, we were on the same page, and all of us wanted, number one, is for these guys to come out of this program with a college degree and really know what a real man is. And you've continued to do that. Chris Thompson has done that, right. And I think that's unique about our program.
Well, it is. It is. I appreciate you laying that groundwork way back when, and it still is a breathing, living thing as I run that program today.
Well, I really appreciate you and Chris and what you want to see happen to these guys in their lives. It'll be something that'll come to them after football. Yeah. And a lot of times down the road, they get to thinking, man, you know, Coach, he had something going.
That's right.
We still have reunions. As Grant mentioned, we're having the 40th reunion of this national championship team this weekend at homecoming. And about every year, they have a reunion somewhere. And you get so close, and I think that is a characteristic of a championship team, is the closeness and the chemistry that they develop.
And I know, Coach, that it's going to be a special night. It was a special night for you Friday night when Chip Martin and Jerry Wilson went into the ACU Hall of Fame, a couple of guys who made their marks on that 1973 team.
That's true. Jerry was a young coach, and Chip was a middle guard. He also was a good performer in the weights and track. So Chip is a good athlete and was. And we're really proud of them going into the Hall of Fame.
Coach, we appreciate you coming by the Ken Collums Show here. Much of what happens at ACU still today, not just in football, but all across the university, is due largely to the foundation that you helped lay. I know you had a lot of help, but you were a huge reason for why ACU is what it is today. We appreciate you coming by.
You're always welcome. Great run for me.
Oh, it's been a very good run for you and for ACU.